feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought.
I can tell you that 7 years after Freddie Gray, that was 2015, spring, April, May. This is 2022. Communities like Sandtown, all we saw then and now in terms of investment was a renovated Western District Police Station and a new funeral home. That's what West Baltimore got. A new police station and a new funeral home. What kind of optics are they? Was Freddie Gray any different than 1968 Baltimore riots? Dr. King's passing, killing, murder? This is the same?
No, it wasn't. I mean, I think, well, first of all, people who are being violent and burning, that's, you know, all that's the same. But the point is what was the cause and what were they attempting to register?
I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
I love you.
They deserve an ounce. It's got next. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover, in it to win it for the long haul, baby. Okay, this is the topic du jour. Larry Hogan, Angela Alsobrooks, here to discuss last night's debate. This associate publisher, Be More News, Miss Stephanie Henderson. Good morning.
Good morning.
We also have with us, all the way from Baltimore by way of Haiti and New York and a whole bunch of other places, Andy Pierre. Good morning, sir.
How we doing? How we doing?
All right. From Laurel, Maryland in gorgeous Prince George's County, the former cannabis councilman, Martin Mitchell. Good morning.
Marty.
Good morning,
All right.
everyone.
Look like he's having a little technical challenges there. And then the elder, to keep us straight, Attorney Robert DeShields. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. And all the way from Baltimore County, Danny Blount. Good morning, Danny. And there goes Martin Mitchell. Okay, Elder, let's start with you. What you think? Larry Hogan versus Angela Alsobrooks. Is this even a fair fight? Is the deck stacked against Larry Hogan? Oh, your volume went out, attorney. Okay. Okay.
I think we're all having a bit of technical difficulty this morning. I have my own, but I was able to come through. All right, I think we're all here now.
Did you see the fight, Stephanie?
I was catching some clips of it and reading articles this morning. Everyone, my household has done a round of RSV, so we're just coming out of it today. But yesterday, so I've been catching up this morning about the clips, with clips and articles. And my initial impressions, also Brooks really did take the stage, you know, abortion and having the the seat in the Senate, right? Republican versus a Democratic seat in the Senate when we're trying to restore women's rights to their own bodies and their medical care. So that really stuck out to me as a woman, and I think it's something that's going to stick out among a lot of women voters in Maryland when it comes to the position of, even though Hogan is a moderate and has said that he would protect the rights of women as well, he's going to be fighting a longer battle if we don't have that seat with the Democratic Party. So that's my take overall. Whether or not that means that there's going to be a sweep for also Brooks, I'm not too sure about that. Maryland is a moderate state, and Hogan has been a good governor for this state. So we'll see what happens, but I'm eager to get the other opinions on the panel this morning.
Attorney DeShield. Still no volume. You were there at first. What'd you do? Danny, did you see the debate?
I did see the debate. I thought it was a great look for also Brooks. I think she was well prepared. I think she kept pounding on Governor Hogan on his stance on abortion rights, and I think it was hers to lose. And I just felt that she did a great job, and she didn't hurt herself at all. Actually, I believe she raised her status after the debate last night.
Okay, Attorney DeShield, let's try you again. No.
Is he muted?
Yeah, he's muted. You're muted. Unmute yourself. Down the bottom in the middle, on the left-hand side is the mute button. Down the bottom on the left-hand side, dead center. Andy Pierre, did you see the debate?
I did. I watched it last night, and then I watched it again this morning. And,
all right, we're good.
There we go. We got you, attorney.
There we go.
Go ahead, Andy.
No, go ahead first. No.
I didn't watch it, so I have nothing to say about it.
So I watched it last night, watched it again this morning. How do I say this without being the jerk here? Also, Brooks did not win that, in my opinion. I feel like she spent this whole time speaking to her base and her audience when this is about, the whole of Maryland. You're trying to win Republican votes as well as Democratic votes. Now,
maybe she's not. Maybe she's not trying to win her win over Republicans. But she did. She tried to corner Hogan and saying that if you're not really a Republican, you should have run as an independent. Exactly. And that was almost insulting to the cultured voter, because an independent is not going to win in Maryland.
Right. That's true. This is true. But I feel like she spent most of the debate on defense. And in any fight, any street fight, you don't want to be on defense. And when you're on defense, you need to be throwing haymakers. She ain't throwing no haymakers last night. Hogan threw some haymakers. She danced around the tax situation. Right? She, the Hogan boiled it down. Now, we're not talking about your grandmother's house. We're talking about your rental properties. She dodged right out of that. And so, she could have got some haymakers in on Hogan. I mean, there's some articles flying around now about how some of his business associates have made some serious money under his administration. Like, you could have came in ready for a fight.
Well, let me chime in about, if I may, generally, even though I didn't watch the debate. I want to address the general perception that somehow or another that the registration between Democrat and Republican ultimately makes a difference in Maryland in the general election. It does not. The fact is that there are many Republicans who are registered as Democrats, and they do that specifically so they can affect the outcome of the primary election.
Yes.
And so when you say that 54% are registered Democrats and only 27% are registered Republicans, that's entirely misleading once you get past the primary. And secondly, but I do think that and with respect to the tax issue, with respect to voters, I believe that's a non-issue. Why? Because I think most people cheat on that type of tax. I
We're
think
just having a conversation.
I think the fact of the matter is that if as when they inquired about the agency and the extent to which they actually investigated the eligibility of the people to whom the homeowner tax credit had gone, the agency does no investigation. And if there's any area where there is, I suspect, an abundance of people who are getting credit for something, homeowner tax credit that they're not entitled to, that's probably the area that's the area where I would look to find the most numerous, the greatest number of people. So when it comes time to vote, Hogan's haymakers or whatever he may have said, and whatever, in spite of the barrage of commercials and ads depicting it, I don't think that's going to make one bit of difference, because I think most people are going to say, "Yeah, I'm doing it too."
So
Well,
I have
see,
a
here's the
question,
thing.
Mr. Shields.
I would say, huh? Go ahead,
As I
Neil.
say, last time we spoke, we talked about how also Brooks, like, we didn't know her. A lot of people didn't know her. And do you think that Andy, others on the call today, do you think she did a better job at the debate of us getting to know her in any other aspects than what we already do? I don't think so, from what I've seen and read from others. Again, I have not watched it in full yet myself, but I want to get your opinions on that, because that was the big
I'd like to
conversation we
say
had last
that
time.
I find it unimaginable that you can cut violent crime 50%. Just 50% sounds like a bold number. Does anybody else?
Well,
I mean, is that not a bold number? You cut violent crime 50%.
Donnie, I think it ought to be illegal for people seeking office or holding office to lie to the public about what their accomplishments have been.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't really push it is because, one, I tried that bill and it never got out of committee. The other one is we don't have enough jails. The fact of the matter is, every time a politician starts with "I," you know what follows is a lie, because there is no "I." There is absolutely no one holding any office, including that of president, that can say "I" unless it's an executive order, and only the top chief executive can issue executive orders. So anybody else that starts off with saying "I did this, I did that," what follows is probably going to be some exaggeration of the truth, if not a complete fabrication of the truth. So no, I don't believe that you can. I don't even know. Then what's the baseline? 50% of what? When? What do you consider to be a violent crime? There's a big debate over whether robbery is a violent crime. Of course, robbery is a violent crime. There's no question about
Violence
it.
apparently isn't a violent crime.
So say it again.
Domestic violence apparently isn't a violent crime.
Yeah, of course it is. Ask somebody who's been beat up. Ask Al Green if them grits wasn't violent.
And hot too.
So this data, I think the data that also Brooks and others are citing from, is because she's been making this claim for quite some time. It's actually from FBI uniform crime reporting data. And it's stating that within Prince George's County, again, not all define what's defined as violent, as you mentioned, Mr. DeShields. But in reports in some news organizations, fact checking says that according to that data, the FBI statistics, that those violent crimes defined by them did fall between 49 and 51% during the 7 years she was the state's attorney for Prince George's County. That's
impressive.
Based upon what was reported to the FBI.
Yes, based on what was reported, using those statistics. Yes, that is the statistics that the source.
The thing is, though, she can't. She doesn't get to just take that and be like, "Oh yeah, that's just my feather in the cap," because Hogan was governor. It was y'all feather in the cap. Right. But to answer your question, I think Hogan did a better job at defining her than she did of defining herself. And, to go back on, what you were saying as far as the tax issue, I would agree with you if I did not witness what happened with Marilyn Mosby.
Yeah. Because we have to, we
I
have
would
to
agree
be
with you that, people are going to be like,
oh, Stephanie, you're saying she did the exact same thing that Marilyn Mosby did.
I have no idea, but there was somewhere in the paperwork something, if any further investigation is done on it, there might be found to be some something that everybody does.
Like Hogan.
So you
Well, who
saying,
knows? If you dig in, because I
Yeah,
mean, at the end of the day, one of my mentors told me if you go digging into anybody's background, you'll find something.
Of course,
absolutely,
of course.
absolutely.
That's what it's all about. I just want to make a point about you're saying that Angela didn't make any way last night. I think she made some serious points last night, especially when it came to the Israelis and Ukraine's issue there, how she supported them. Hogan was on the fence with that. He was truly on the fence with that. He wouldn't give a direct answer. He danced around it. She was very direct about that.
she says she supports Israel.
That's right. And he
What
was
about the
very.
Palestinians who are being slaughtered?
Well, of course,
The rest of America feels as though the Palestinians are being the everyday Palestinian is being slaughtered, starved to death.
I agree with all of that for sure. The Palestinians.
So that just goes out the window.
We talking about human life here. We talking about just the way you're supposed to treat people and make sure that they are taken care of. The other issue, I think it had to do with the.
She talked about Taiwan and China too.
Well, yeah.
She said she would just arm Taiwan, but she would not put troops on the ground. Let me tell you something. She was pretty wise with that. You go over there messing with China, don't forget they got 1.3 billion people.
That's right. You talked about the how he vetoed, the women right issue thing,
But he explained that too, didn't he?
He's tried to explain it by saying that it wasn't going to be qualified people who are going to be trained for abortions and things of that nature too, but those funds were going to be directed to professionals as well. Those professionals who wanted to ensure that we had enough people to take care of the needs, because we're going to be in flux by other states sending people to us to get abortions. So for him to not fund it or hold the funding and things like that, he was really doing an injustice. If you look at
whoever it was that added that poison pill to the bill was doing the injustice. Whoever was that added the poison pill of making it so that people who weren't medical professionals would get trained on how to do an abortion, whoever added that portion to the bill wanted it dead. Because there's
you cannot subject everybody to not being able to get those needs, get that service that they need too. You can't do that either.
Danny, are you familiar with the founder of Planned Parenthood? Because it's amazing to me, Mr. DeShield, the impact that Planned Parenthood has on American elections. Now, this is what I'm getting to. The founder of Planned Parenthood was a eugenicist. Her name was Margaret Sanger. Now, Black people need to know about this. Margaret Sanger said that Black people are like weeds that need to be exterminated. And why Planned Parenthood, which has so many of their facilities in the Black community, has so much influence over our elections without us even questioning what their ulterior purpose is beyond me. They've killed more Black babies than all of the murderers combined.
You ain't lying. I mean,
well, I'll say this. I know that Planned Parenthood has been there for a couple women in my life when they needed them for services that are, their personal business for what they need.
I'm not against abortion. I'm just saying they are heavily concentrated in the Black community. And if you look up their efforts in Africa, they want to extend abortions deep into Africa. Why are they trying to kill our babies, but yet they want to preserve white babies?
Well, there's the white women are the highest percentage of people getting abortions.
Yes, they are.
So there's that. Like,
and it's a lot of white women that use Planned Parenthood.
Wanted to get rid of Roe versus Wade is because their white babies are going faster than our Black babies are.
Because we multiply at a higher rate, and Latinos out multiply both of us.
When you talk, abortion is a very, very delicate, very serious um, topic, and it's a hard thing for I would think any woman to have to choose and to go through.
Hold that thought. Martin Mitchell, come on in. I see you situated now.
Yeah. So of course the abortion issue. You remember last time we had a hot conversation with Princess and Michael Haney. I still stand. I think that the debate was all right. I will be honest. I didn't watch all of it. I watched 40 minutes of it. Uh, from what I saw, I didn't really learn anything. I think that I think that also Brooks performed well. To be honest, because I could be critical. I think she performed well. Um, do I love like some of the positions? Because I think I heard like she was great on Gaza. I think that she could have been a lot stronger, on the Gaza, and of course supporting Palestine as well. And
She was
but
pro-Israel. I didn't hear her talk much about Palestine.
yeah,
Now I was in
no,
and
I
out
know.
because it was a bit boring.
Yes, no, it definitely was. I think that they should also just give them a little bit more time because then you could really like hear like the policy ideas and because in 60 seconds you're really just trying to hit these talking points.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's what I
moved
can say.
quickly.
She did a good job hitting those talking points, because you only get 60 seconds and then 30 seconds to rebuttal.
Yeah, Hogan seemed a little nervous to me. For some reason, he just seemed a little bit off his regular self.
I agree.
I don't know what that was about, but he wasn't his normal self at all last night. Well, coming into the last night debate, of course, Angela has a lead over him. This is what the polls are saying. I don't know, polls are polls.
Put her up 11 points.
Yeah, put her up like that. And so it was her. She didn't do anything to lose that. It's my point. When you go into a debate like that, you just want to kind of stay, just on point. You don't want to lose anything. So I think what she did was she kept her position for the polls, I believe. I don't think she lost.
I think she lost ground when she was posed the last question of the night. It spoke volume.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders or Ravens?
Ravens.
And
She lost Baltimore right there.
Unapologetically said Commanders, and I was like, oh no!
Ravens give up Baltimore
Oh
so
my
quick.
Because that just told them 2 million
Lost a
people
few
in Baltimore. She don't like Baltimore.
Well,
I'm gonna go to the team that's not even in the state. You might as well upset
And the
Steelers.
game is Sunday. Oh my! Attorney the Shield, I couldn't believe she did that.
Well, she's from Prince George's County,
Network,
so I expect her to say the
And it
Commanders.
shows that Prince George's County, some people in Prince George's don't recognize Baltimore. Politically, Baltimore put Prince George's on.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Historically.
That's right.
That's it.
Well,
Yeah,
Prince
that
George's
was,
has the
You don't
support
know
from
that.
everybody. Yeah, they have the support from everybody, from the governor to everything.
Maybe she was trying
Like
to show how much courage she had, and that she was truly
Man,
independent.
If
I
I'm
don't
Hogan, I'm changing my whole branding, my whole color scheme to Ravens Nation.
know.
Going hard on that point. Going into election day, Ravens Nation. Like, yo, what?
And Hogan said Ravens.
Well, yeah.
And he's from Montgomery. But he has a better sense of the state than does she in that regard.
Well,
he's just-
I
he's
don't
just
want her
saying-
to be a
he's
fair
just
weather
saying.
fan either. Just for the state, just for the sake of the election. If she grew up being a Commanders fan, I like the sense of loyalty. I can appreciate that.
It's okay.
And the
That wasn't.
game is Sunday.
I
so
think
sit
when
on
she
the
said
outside.
Commanders, she really was talking about Daniels and the young quarterback there, and he is a
He's
phenomenon.
shining.
There's no
He
question about
he is
it.
absolutely the phenomenal player.
Yo, funny. I'm like, man. Nah, but the thing is, she didn't, like you said, she didn't do anything to lose the race. Lose the
No.
debate. I just don't think she won.
I
Okay.
think we ought to question, what are the expectations? What do you think that most people expect to get from a debate, a so-called debate? Putting aside the issue of what a debate really is, and the fact that none of these stage performances really fit the definition of a true debate. But what is it that people expect to get from it? I mean, we analyze it from the point of view of how the candidate did without ever talking about what was expected and who expected it and how you measure it.
I
Those,
expect to see someone who has a mastery of state politics and what Maryland needs as it relates to the U.S. Senate. Who will go in there and stand up? Hogan gave the impression that he would stand up against his party, and he tried to flip the script on her. Would she stand up against her party? She then said how much she fought to bring the FBI to Prince George's County. But the interesting thing is, I heard Wes Moore saying the same thing.
I was gonna ask about that, the comparison between their trajectories, also Brooke and Westmore, both coming out.
What do you think, Martin Lawrence, Martin Mitchell? Call him man,
I
Martin
mean,
Lawrence.
they both were helpful, in the FBI. I think it was a joint effort between, them and a lot of people. So I don't think just one of them can take the credit. To be honest with you, I think there could have been more haymakers. I would have hit Hogan on those COVID test kits. I would have hit Hogan on his chief of staff. There's definitely a few things that I would have hit Hogan on. I do credit Ethridge for saying that she would support federal legalization of cannabis. She said that outright. I was happy about that.
She was tepid. Both of them were tepid on illegal marijuana.
I thought I heard a yes from her. I mean,
came out
I could be
against
wrong. I could be.
He said he wasn't supporting.
No, Hogan said no, but I thought also Brooke said she would support it. I mean, maybe I could be wrong. Somebody correct me. I thought she said yes. He said no.
They both were against it.
I'd have to go back and watch that because I was giving her points, on the cannabis tip, Donnie.
well, that whole
your black iron parts up.
that whole cannabis thing, in my opinion, was a deliberate and intentional hoax committed upon the public. I mean, the selling point was we criminalized it, and black folk were the victims of that criminalization, and so now
making money.
And so now we're going to create a system where those social equity licenses, or whatever you want to call them, black folk are supposed to be now able to cash in on the price. But if you look at who actually owns the licenses, there are very few black. Yes, exactly. So that whole thing was a cruel hoax to begin with. Not only that. Well, I'll leave the cannabis thing.
In the past, Attorney DeShiel,
I agree with you. I agree,
Martin. Hold tight, Martin. In the past, Attorney DeShiel, you said, "Who decides? Who decides?" That's what you said.
That's right. And that issue, that is the predominant issue in the entire universe. Who decides? Who decides? And if at the end of the day, the same people are in charge of that, are the ones making the decisions, then we haven't changed anything. We've done what my physics teacher said. We pushed against a brick building all day long. We're sweaty and funky work because ain't nothing moved.
Stephanie, read that comment.
So this is from NBCWashington.com. Also, Brooke said that she would vote to legalize marijuana on the federal level, but was hesitant. Quote, "I think it's an awful idea to have children smoking marijuana. I've always been very clear on this issue, is that I'm deeply concerned about the impacts of marijuana on children." Also, Brooke said, while she stated that adults should be free to make their own decisions, she expressed support for similar guardrails to those around alcohol when it comes to underage access.
Alcohol kill more people than marijuana.
Yep.
And that's fair. And that's fair, because I think that was exactly what she said. And I think that anybody on the call, understands that, we legalized it for responsible adult use. We didn't legalize it for child use, for teenage use.
That's
right. So,
right.
like, just, when we talk about it in that manner, it's almost like fear mongering.
Yes.
I do think we should be worried about the packaging and the marketing, aspect. But, anything else, I just think it doesn't make sense that the laws are different in Maryland. But when I travel to Louisiana, I got to be up on their cannabis laws because it's very, very different. Right? I think it should be federally legal. I think we should free the plant.
While you have the floor there, Martin, mass incarceration is of particular interest to you. As you know, America has 5% of the world's population, but we have 25% of the incarcerated persons. Just earlier this year, around May or so, Governor Westmore put 175,000 people who had marijuana charges in a good light. Help us out. Bring us up to speed.
So yes, Governor Westmore, he made a sweeping action by pardoning 175 Marylanders of misdemeanor cannabis offenses. And so, but one of the things I think we talked about earlier, Donnie, is there's still more work to be done, because even though they have those pardons, people still have to get expungements thereafter. And then some of those people are not eligible for expungements, depending on their probation, parole, or what the charge was. And then I think we should also just go further and also look at felonies, especially non-violent felonies, right? Like I think that if I was locked up for distributing, of course I didn't have a gun, nothing like that. I was just a illegal drug dealer before my time, before it was legal, right? And when we talk about the war on drugs, I was directly impacted. Not speaking of myself, because of course myself, it was just like I think I got caught with a gram, right? And I just remember how it was 12 years ago, and the cops treated me like I had a loaded weapon. Like this gram of flour was about to just it was about to hurt somebody. And one of the things that I do applaud Westmore for is keeping the conversation going about how we can further the successful war on drugs, or how we can overcome that. And at the end of the day, reparations, when we talk about the financial reparations, making sure that those social equity applicants are actually people who were impacted, not just people who are of color, or they have one minority owner and other owners, or other two owners, or white owners, but people who were actually impacted, people who were actually arrested, people who were actually furthering the industry before it was legal. And so, yeah.
Martin, the people who support social equity licensing and so forth, if you don't support the federal rescheduling of marijuana on the list of drugs,
Yep.
so that financial institutions are free to finance businesses in that area, then the reality of it is very few black folk, particularly those who are returning citizens, are going to be able to get the financing. The fact is, black businesses rely more on debt financing than others. We don't have many venture capitalists investing in black businesses at any level. So when you take the banks out of the equation, when you can't go to the bank and get a loan to start your dispensary, or to start your grower operation, or to start your processing operation, then you're out of business. And what happens? Who fills that void? That is why the industry is overwhelmingly white controlled and white owned, because there's no financing available within the established financial institutions for that industry. And that go ahead.
Is
Well,
there,
I just want
since it's only white companies that are getting these licenses, is there any requirement for them to have to contribute money into some type of pot that would go towards legal representation for the many black people that have gotten arrested for this foolishness?
There
Any
may be
social responsibility on these white dispensary owners, since black people can't get these licenses?
There's no such requirement in Maryland that I'm aware of. There may be a requirement in other jurisdictions, in other states or jurisdictions, but there is no such requirement in Maryland that I'm aware of.
So
Or DC,
they
or
just
DC.
shifting the numbers around. Black people are still being pimped in the process.
Exactly.
yes. Well,
Exactly.
I wanted to say that this Attorney DeShield brought up a great point about financing for the cannabis businesses. That's one of the biggest things that they talk about. They have a high tax rate, and they can't find financing. I would say when we talk about the federal level, though, Attorney DeShield, there's been a large conversation around rescheduling or descheduling, right? Because the worry is when
Right.
we reschedule, we're gonna I understand the aspect of being able to get financing, but it's also the fact that I think that a Johnson and Johnson is going to be like the main provider of cannabis, right? Like thereafter, I think it's just going to be like a lot of like already pharmaceutical companies getting in the cannabis industry with rescheduling. And so that's my understanding or expectation. And so that's why it's a large conversation in the advocacy community around which one is better.
Well,
And
let
which
me ask
one
you, Mun,
the advocacy.
is dispensary weed better than street weed?
Well, I can't go to say that. I've met some very great farmers. I've had the privilege of going to a dozen different states where it's legal and meeting organic farmers. So I can't necessarily say that. And to be honest with you, I would say that like if I know the farmer and the grower, I would probably trust that more than what I got from the dispensary 9 times out of 10. Um, and so I can't necessarily say that dispensaries are. I do appreciate the access, right? Like it's not like something I'm doing in a back alley. And when I go into the dispensary, the medical dispensary, the medical patient, I see a variety of patients.
Do
And
you
so
see
that,
any
that
famous people in the dispensaries?
no,
I think
no, but I've seen some politicians, so that's about it. I've seen some politicians.
so. Is the dispensary weed better than street weed? Fiscally speaking, yes, because in the streets you can still find a nickel, you can find a dime. You're not finding that in no dispensary. Dispensary's charging you $35 upwards. So you're not like somebody who's just a regular Joe who got a couple dollars is not going into a dispensary. So the streets is or the street the black market for marijuana is always going to exist. Right. So Colorado, I think they've had legalized marijuana for however many years, and they're still street weed. You're still gonna go to a corner, your neighborhood drug dealer, and buy your weed from that guy.
That's correct.
Okay, the panel has gotten really quiet. I'm glad there are no marijuana smokers on this panel. Stephanie, what else is going on, Stephanie?
Well, this weekend is the Black Wall Street Expo on the 25th Street corridor, sponsored and hosted by Notre Maison Connects with Jackie Cummings. Books and Bounty will be setting up a reading nook there where we'll hopefully have some books and collateral from some local authors and publishers for you to take a look at. And it'll just be a way for you to come relax, learn about Books and Bounty, maybe do some reading, get some book recommendations, find out about some other cultural, literary, and arts events that are upcoming in Baltimore. So stop by. Again, this is the Black Wall Street Expo this weekend. I'm really excited about it. Over 100 small Black-owned businesses from Baltimore and the area will be there.
What do you think about the Black Wall Street we had down at Black Swan?
At Black Swan. Yeah, so I wasn't able, again, I was sick yesterday, so I wasn't able to hop on and talk about the event Wednesday night, but that was wonderful. Doni had a huge turnout, I think more than expected. We had a huge turnout. It was much more than probably we expected. We had, I think, half of the restaurant reserved. We took over the entire restaurant plus the bar. We gave away, how many awards did you give away that night, Doni? I think it was upwards of what?
Shit. 18.
18, I was about to say 20. 16. And some of those award recipients are here today. Andy received a Joe Mann's Black Wall Street Award as well. So Andy, you want to tell the folks a little bit about what you do and why you were recognized?
Well, as an operator who works with Doni and just in Baltimore City for a while, I try to do the work of the people, and Doni is one of the people who recognized it, and so I'm very appreciative because work behind the scenes most of the time. Nobody really knows.
He's very modest.
Folks, if you're running for office, Attorney DeShield, this is the guy you want, Andy Pierre. I mean, he is
that guy. Andy is that.
I'm impressed with with what I've heard him say over the few times that I've participated in this show, but that he's a resource that's available to others. Running for office is not something that I'm inclined ever to do again. I did it once in 1998, and I lost because I was running for the wrong reasons. I was fulfilling my own personal ego, and not more so than being committed to actually trying to do something to change the system. I was looking for another notch in my weaponry, if you will. And
but
the Lord
Attorney DeShield, you have to have a certain level of self-confidence. I think therein lies the challenge. Some people, they just, once they get over that initial hurdle of the self-confidence, not everybody has it, then it's like, can you rein in those horses to stay balanced? Because some people never recuperate from a political loss, and then others go on to persevere. You've been able to go on and persevere. If you ask me, Billy Murphy went on and persevered, but there's some people like Doc Cheatham, he's still crushed from his loss.
You know, in my few years in the game, what I've realized is you have people who have a good heart and they want to do the right thing for the people, but
Doesn't mean they need to
they're
run for
also trying to
office.
run their own campaign.
Doesn't mean they need to run for office.
Nah, well, I'd rather see them in the game more so than the folks who are just using it as a stepping stone to get to something else. But it's about focusing on what you're good at, right? You have your like, so McFadden, right? He's a legislator. He is not a campaigner, but he can get your bill through. So he had Julius Henson, who was his campaigner until they started beefing. But for a number of years, Julius managed the field. McFadden handled his thing. At least that's how I was. That's how it was told to me. But it's like your legislators don't need to be running their own campaigns. Yes, I understand it's a path to that, but you're either going to be good at campaigning or be good at legislating. I don't know too many people who are great at both.
I tell you what, Andy, I measure politicians' strength by their ability to bring money back to their district. If you bring back chump change, then maybe we need another hitter in here.
Well, I've only known one politician, and I've known quite a few, and I've had some of them even as my partners in business. But I've only known one politician whose primary objective was not to get reelected. And the desire to get reelected, I hate to use this word, but it trumps everything else. And not only that, but then we elect somebody who presumably because they're black, and then we excuse them for not standing up because if they stand up for us, then they can't get reelected. I mean, so we take logic and we turn it on its head. We turn it completely on its head. That was the problem with Obama. We rushed to the polls to elect the first black president who didn't meet with the black caucus for 2 years after he was in office until Trayvon Martin was killed in Florida. But then we say, well, you know, he can't do but so much because he's got to get reelected. Well, what? I'm sorry. I'm not that. I'm old, but I'm not that silly. If you're gonna put him, if you put him there for a reason, and they got to stand up for that reason. And if they lose, we put somebody else there for the same reason. We don't compromise the basis for taking the action in the first place, because if we don't address the issue of who decides, then our whole effort is misdirected.
Okay,
people aren't engaged. I'm on the Central Committee. We're the grassroots organizations, right? And we see all the political folks come through. At one time in Baltimore County, the elected officials, not only were they in Annapolis, but they also was in Baltimore County on the Central Committee. I was the chair of the bylaws committee, and I stopped it. We stopped it in 2020. So we were able to stop the elected officials in Baltimore County not to be able to hold those seats. Right. That there changed the whole game in Baltimore County to a degree.
Everybody's been doing that. That was really no big deal. What did it change?
Well, it changed them from being on the Central Committee and bringing in folks and filling vacancies. They were able to fill vacancies with their friends. So that's been going on for 30, 40
friends
years.
Friends or people who support it. But that's the game. I'm not mad at them for playing the game.
Okay.
My question, I'll tell you, my question is, what did you do with it? When you had the power, right now we've got every damn political position, the governor, the comptroller, the treasurer, And I'm with Mr. DeShields. What do we do with that power? Because when the other people get in there, they have no problem looking out for their damn community.
Power without demand means nothing. And that's the problem.
What are we demanding from Westmore right now?
Well, we have to demand it. You have to keep your foot on his neck. You have to make those people do what they supposed to do, or don't re-elect them. But they know that the majority of folks aren't engaged.
Does Westmore get your re-election vote?
When I look, Westmore.
See, you sound like also Brooks and Hogan.
No. What I'm saying to you is this: we all know how politics works, Donnie, and incumbents are hard to beat. So that's the issue right there. You got to get someone who's able to come in there and have the support to make that change. If you don't have the person supported by the community with money, with everything, it's money. If you don't have that kind of support, then you're not going to beat an incumbent. You're just not going to.
An incumbent can be beat.
It's hard. It's hard. 70% of incumbents
generally are complacent.
Yeah, people gotta get out and
It's not hard to be an incumbent. It just takes you doing everything. You gotta do everything.
You can say that, but it's not being done. If it was what you said, these things would have taken place.
Martin Mitchell, what are we asking of Westmore
what's changed?
Now? What is our ask from Westmore? When he first came in, he said in his first 60 days, he wanted all of the cabinet agency directors to have a plan to meet the minority business goals. And I just want to say, I get sick of the minority business, because when they say minority business goals, it's all for subcontracts. It's not for prime contracts. This is for some slave positions. I want ownership, equity ownership.
That's right.
Martin Mitchell, let me hear your thoughts. Like black dispensaries. Damn, this is a majority black city. You got all these black elected officials, and we ain't got one black-owned dispensary in Baltimore City? Damn, son.
What's going? Then that's the Congressional Black Caucus.
We want the money. We want the money. This gibberish, this rhetoric is happenstance.
You gotta fight for that stuff.
I gotta fight for. I got the governor, the comptroller, the attorney general, and you have not followed that. So you know what? We don't need you, damn elected official, because y'all can't get nothing done. You can't give me one black-owned dispensary in the blackest city in America.
There you go.
Damn shame.
And you brag about how big your caucus is.
I can't even argue on that one.
No, you can't argue with that. I mean,
damn shame. We ain't
what? How many black folks are in prison because of marijuana? Doesn't make sense.
Am I wrong? Is it wrong to ask? We don't want no damn subcontracts. We want R.E. Harrington. We want Bishop Barry to get prime contracts in the state of Maryland. And I'm tired of filling out a damn application. Just put the damn business right here. That's right. That's how they look out for the white boys.
All day long. We need to look out for ourselves.
Being on tepid.
Don't be afraid.
That woman from Harford County said Prince George's County, Marianne Lasante. She said it's the nigger district. Damn. You remember that, Martin?
I remember it. Yes, she blocked me on Facebook.
She should have never been comfortable walking around no damn way. You said what?
She thought she was amongst good people. She thought she was around her people.
Stephanie, you might want to hear you banging all over the place. Why don't you just come on, Stephanie?
So I was just reading some. We're talking about Westmore and how bringing, increasing economic support among Black businesses and families. And there was a paper that came out of Westmore's office titled "A Bold Plan to Unlock Economic Opportunity for Maryland's Black Families." I read this briefly before, and I just pulled it up today during our conversation, because for me, it seems almost like the bare minimum, like the default expectations. Like, you put out this paper, but affordable housing, entrepreneurship, and access to capital. What Doni said, we don't need those subcontracts. We need prime contracts. Support with
HBCUs. We don't need the subs. I'm saying don't fall for the okie doke. When you hear the term MBE, They're talking about subcontracts. Damn it, we need prime contracts.
Yeah.
Subcontracts meaning you working for some white boys.
All day long.
We can work for ourselves.
The bulk of the good work.
Yeah, and then they peel you off. They don't want to pay you. They want to dilly-dally you around. Hey, go back, fix this invoice. Oh, pimp.
That's been going on for a long time. You got to go out of state to become a prime.
Then they let somebody like Herman Taylor come down to Annapolis and have MBE night where he just props up himself. And this cat was over there helping Peter Franchot. So I'm just not understanding this whole Democratic thing. And that's one thing I do like about the Republicans. When he was governor, Hogan made sure black people got business. In the story, he knew he had to take care of, but blacks get in there, Democrats get in there, and they feel like they can take the black vote, the black business for granted. And the truth is we've had to fight harder against black Democrats to get a piece of the pie than the damn Republicans. The Republicans get the business. What's the use of having all of these damn black politicians and you ain't got one black-owned dispensary giving all of the weed black people smoke? You ain't got one black-owned dispensary in Baltimore City. That's a damn shame.
It's shameful. It is shameful. And the white folks look at that and say,
you big dummy.
That's right. That's right. That's putting it counterly.
Martin, what's going on today? You got some expungement stuff. You better speak up.
Yeah.
The 26th, when we talk about, righting the wrongs, October 26th, we have an expungement clinic at the Laurel Branch Library. And there'll be immigration attorneys as well as people helping with criminal and traffic. And, we do this every 3 to 4 months, trying to help people get freedom on paper. I know that we had Attorney DeShield on, so he knows that there's a lot of people who still need expungements. So this is a way early on I made like cannabis businesses get involved, by, helping donate, by, getting their attorneys to donate their time. And then we also use, I got to give a shout out to Maryland Legal Aid and Community Legal Services. And so they do a lot of, free legal support. So as well as an expungement clinic, it's a wellness clinic too. So there'll be a mobile job van. There'll be a woman's health bus, giving a lot of free services. And, there'll be a lot of other, wellness as far as like counseling, suicide prevention, opioid, training and education. And so, yeah, definitely come out the 26th, 10 a.m.
Repeat that one more time, Martin. You can summarize October 26th, where, when, and website we can get more information.
Yeah. So 10/26, 10 a.m., Laurel Branch Library in Laurel, Maryland, Prince George's County, gorgeous Prince George's, and it's a expungement / wellness fair. So, come get some other services, as well as, expungement or legal aid if you need it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Oh, and where? I would say check out social media at Martin for Laurel.
Okay. You said that's Martin for Laurel?
Yes, spell it out, not the number.
All right, Andy, anything you have upcoming you want to tell the people about?
October 18th, there is the Day of Unity Gala by with the Belvedere Real Care Providers Network. They have Manny the God. He's going to be the MC for the night. He's a comedian, and that's a pretty nice. It's going to be a nice affair. Tickets are about $100. You get two for $150. So it's a good date night to bring your girl out. Be like a little. Some finger food. Well, not really finger food. I don't know what they're calling it, but it's like a cocktail reception, open bar, parking over there across the streets, getting squared away, and then comedy show. So if anybody, if you don't got nothing planned for next Friday, come on out.
And how can the people find out more information?
You can go to helpbaltimoreshomeless.org.
So date night for a good cause. And Mr. Brown, you have any thing going on you want to tell the people about?
Yes. Well, actually, I'm going to talk something about the veterans. I'm a commissioner for Baltimore County Veterans Affairs, and we're having a big veterans event at Towson University on November the 8th. It's from 10 to 2, and we're giving free tickets to the Towson University football game after it's over. Free food with Mission Barbecue. And this is our second annual event, and last year was great. This year it's going to be even greater. We're going to have resources for veterans if they need to get information for claims, or they need help in any veterans related cause. We'll be there. We have people.
You in charge of this, Danny?
When? This for the veterans?
Yeah, you say you the chair of this and you're the vice chair.
I'm a commissioner for the Baltimore County Veterans Affairs Commissions.
Why they ain't get Island Cuisine? Mission Barbecue getting all of the damn business. Why ain't getting enough for Island Cuisine?
Well, you know what that is.
It's a black-owned restaurant.
Oh, I know Island Cuisine. I know them very well. They all up Liberty Road. I know Donovan very well. This has to do with the veterans. Mission Barbecue is veterans, so that's how we partner with them. They're giving us a great deal on that, and so
Hogan was the first one to put Mission Barbecue in action. I want you to know. Hey, Martin Mitchell, before you slide, you were real lackluster. You made it seem like this expungement thing is just a happenstance. Come on, let's put some fire into it. Why is this important?
Well, it's important because it helps people. Like
man, black people filling up these jails. Tell the truth. Yeah. Shame the devil, brother.
Well, it's not just that. It helps second chances. Like I also call them second chance clinics. So like a lot of people, it helps them with housing. It helps them with job employment. A lot of times you don't know, for a long time how that record could hold you back. How you didn't get a call back. How they passed.
It ain't hold Trump back. Trump running for president.
Yeah, well, he has a right skin complexion. He has a right skin complexion. So when you're black, you got to do things, twice as right. So
does racism matter to your generation, Martin?
Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. I mean, it should.
Well, that could be a whole show, Doni.
Yeah. Y'all just Taylor Swift down.
Oh goodness.
Andy Pierre, you mentioned this homeless event, but you didn't say anything about Christina Flowers, man. Tell them about Christina Flowers.
Christina Flowers, the angel in the streets. She's out here with the dirt with the folks. She's feeding them. She's getting them sheltered. Because essentially what she's been doing, and as an unsung hero of Baltimore City, is she's been filling these gaps where government services can't, right? So because you got these shelters that get millions of dollars, but they're kicking people out of the shelters for behavioral issues. Where does that person go after they've been kicked out of a shelter? Like somebody who's chronically homeless, where do they go? They go to Christina Flowers. They're hungry, Christina Flowers will feed them. They need somewhere to sleep, Christina Flowers gets them somewhere to sleep. If it's cold outside, you better believe she gets them warm.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny, you mentioned these veterans. How many of them commit suicide in America every day?
Oh my gosh, it's a high number. It really is a high number, and we do a suicide prevention affair as well. I mean, all of those things are going to be at this event. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to have a whole staff. Matter of fact, I'm glad you asked me that, because I'm sorry I had the date wrong. It's Saturday, November the 9th from 10 to 2:30 p.m. at the University Union United Stadium. So this is going to be at Towson University. So it's all of those different workshops is going to be there.
You know Tiger Davis?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, man! I gotta put you in touch with Tiger Davis right away. He is the biggest veterans advocate in the state of Maryland, if you ask me. Black man.
I would love to speak with him, because I've actually.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, please put me down with him.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
He's been on this show several times. Okay, what else you got, Stephanie?
Well, so we went over all the
You
different
just
upcoming
posted
events.
something.
Excuse me?
You just
We went
put
over
something
the
in the chat.
something new. Oh, into chat, I just let everyone know. Donnie asked how many veterans commit suicide each day. It's 22. That's daily.
22 a day. And while we're on that note, the veteran crisis number 988. Let's make sure everybody remembers that 988. Tell a veteran.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually have some affinity with the Department of Veteran Affairs. That's where my mom retired from, and I have some fond and crazy memories going down to the VA hospital in downtown Baltimore growing up, even when it was over on Loch Raven. So
it's still there. It's still on Loch Raven.
Still there.
There's this, yes, there is a facility there.
Is that the number, Andy?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, 988. Then press 1, and you get the help you need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who you like, Trump or Kamala? Danny?
Kamala.
Oh, I'm going with Kamala all the way. It's going to be a tight race, but I believe I'm praying that Kamala gets through. So
you praying or you voting? I mean, where's the GOT?
Well, I mean, come on now. Of course, I'm voting. That's what I do.
Hold
So,
up.
yeah.
You vote, but a lot of black people on Liberty Road are comfortable.
Well,
they don't
that's
even
why
know
we
that
out
you
there.
got hold up. They don't even know that you got a major ballot issue, whether to extend the council from 7 members to 9 or table it for 2 years and take it from 7 members to 11 members like Prince George's in Montgomery County.
Well, actually, they passed it, so it's going to be 2.
So Baltimore County is just behind. They stuck in the 1950s.
They are so behind, and the only reason why they actually even put 9 out there or 2 more out there was because of the 4 more that we were working on for the last 2 years that we got no help from the elected officials to help get it over the.
So why should we keep voting for these people to go back?
Well, I mean, all I do is inform and engage and empower people with the knowledge. It's up to them whether or not they use it. So it's a fact that, these things didn't occur because we didn't have the support from our elected officials. And, people need to understand that and use that power to their advantage when it comes time to vote.
And you're talking about the Speaker of the House, Adrian Jones. You're talking about, what's her name, Veronica Wright. You're talking about N. Scott Phillips. You're talking about Ben Brooks. Those are your black elected officials. And Councilman Julian Jones. That's who we're talking about, right?
Those are the ones that they came on board at the very end, but they weren't really supporting us.
What the hell are we doing, man?
I have a question for you, Mr. Blount. The new districts. How's that going to affect the Liberty Road corridor? Is it going to chop up the black vote along the Liberty Road corridor and make Izzy's seat a little bit more safe for him?
Well, the thing about it is that what's going to happen, every district is going to have to take 50, I think it's like 50,000 people away from each district to make those 2 new districts that they're talking about doing with 2 more. It will shrink the districts some in the 10th and 44B. It will do that, but granted, those districts still are predominantly black districts, and those folks in those areas still should be able to be re-elected. Black representation is what we're speaking about.
Who's going to be the next county executive out there to replace Old Chesky? Is it going to be Pat Young, Julian Jones, or Izzy Patoka?
It's going to be a fight, but
Julian Jones.
I'm going to say, it's not that easy, Andy, at all. Because of a lot of these variables that I just mentioned about the 4 more, and people, they know what went on and they know who wasn't on signatures. We had 12,000 signatures, of course, but you need 15,000. You need more than that because you need 10,000 to get over the hump.
Who's going to win, man?
Who's going to win a county executive seat? in my opinion, I'm going to support Julian. I will support Julian. That's who I will support. But I do know that it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be a
Who's
tough.
the bigger threat, Izzy Patoko or Pat Young? Because my understanding is Pat Young stood with what black interests were out the Liberty
Yeah,
Round.
he did
Izzy's got
at the
600
last
grand.
minute. Say it again.
Izzy's got 600 grand.
Well, he does have a lot of money. He has a lot of support from the Jewish community, but he also has some support from black folks too.
Are you going to penalize him for teaming up with the Republicans on this particular issue?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because what he did, he sold out our party. He went and got he needed a supermajority to get the 2 more passed with a map that was not transparent, that the community didn't get an opportunity to look at. He's supposed to have a commission that did that, but he put it together.
So how did they let an illegal map become the guide?
Well, what they did was all
He's the
backdoor.
new chair.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Izzy's the new chair, isn't he? Baltimore County
Well, yeah,
Council?
he's a chair. He's a chair. He got it done with 3 Republicans, and he got it with Mike Rattel, and Izzy. So that made it a supermajority. Actually, Julian wasn't even at that meeting. Unfortunately, he wasn't even there.
Where was he?
He was somewhere on the airplanes. What was told to me. That right there, people don't even. They can't even fathom how that can be. This is something that's so
even
historic.
If he was there, what was his vote going to do?
Actually, he was going to vote against it. He was going to vote against it, but he was going to vote against everything. Actually, at that time, I think he might have tried to push 4 more because he knew the significance of what 2 more was about in the bill.
That they came in at the last minute. So how much influence could that last minute help?
None at all. It actually, to me, it really was an embarrassment because this is something that we went to them like 2.5 years ago to say, you want to make history? This is what we need to do. And they wouldn't get on board.
The real champion, they tell me, is Linda. What's her name? Linda Dorsey Walker?
She was very, very much a champion. She worked tirelessly to get this thing pushed. But she had to think about this. The county council could have themselves changed the charter. Themselves, they could have done it. And you know what? This is a 1957.
Map, though. They use an illegal map.
They're using a map that they painted the illegal map purple, red for the Democrat. I mean for the Republicans. That was the deal. That was the only reason why. Say it again. I'm sorry.
So will the illegal map water down the black vote enough to where everything is split up? Because you said everybody has to give up 50,000 voters. Along what line?
Right.
Well,
can they just give you 50,000 voters at the bottom of their district and merge it in? And we get let's do 40,000 of the white people here. We're gonna slice out 10,000 of this black vote and break this 30,000 black stronghold down to 20,000. Like, can they do that? Because it sounds like
you can't do it like
what I would do if I was the opposition.
You can't do it like that. The map is going to be thrown out. That map is not going to make it. It's not going to make it.
Where's the ACLU lawsuit? Because the election is in 30 days.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we are right now. That's, the ACLU definitely has filed a lawsuit against it. Where is that right now?
We're the 2 Baltimore County NAACP chapters, and why y'all got 2 chapters in the same damn area is beyond me. But where does the NAACP stand on this?
You know what? We have a lot of support from the Baltimore County NAACP, Danita Tolson, who is the president of the Baltimore County, and they have a Randallstown NAACP. I think his name is what's his name? Coleman. Ryan Coleman. Ryan Coleman. We have a big problem with that. Why they have 2 separate NAACPs. Ryan's not talking much about it. for the Randallstown area.
We see
Which
him
I
in
don't
white media
understand.
all the time. I think
He's
he
always
probably
out
ought to put in
there.
an
He's always
afro.
out there. Yeah, he's always out there. Matter of fact, I'm waiting on a call from him now because we got some issues out here in Liberty Road that we need to address.
Would
And
you
I'm
say
still,
that the black people out Liberty Road are not politically sophisticated?
I would say I would
No,
say it this way. I would say they're
I
not
don't say they
engaged.
are.
A lot of them are
They're
unengaged.
not engaged.
They're not engaged.
They're
And that's
politically
a fact.
aloof. Politically aloof.
Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of folks out here
Okay.
who are, but there's a lot of them who aren't. And a lot of them don't come to meetings. A lot of them don't, they don't press the issue. They don't support.
How do you get the word out
initiative.
about the meetings? Because one of your biggest challenges is the county council is all the way in Towson. And the only reason a lot of blacks go to Towson is to go to Towson Town Mall. Very few blacks from Liberty Road go to the courthouse, to the county council meetings.
That's correct. And we've always tried to fight it. We didn't get the support from the county council to rotate those places, to bring it out to different districts so that people who live in those districts can attend those meetings. And the time that they have those meetings. Yeah, I mean, it's so much that needs to be changed if you really want people to be involved in this process. But it's very lackluster. We need more push from our elected officials to make those changes. And it's kind of sometimes it's hard. The proof is in the pudding. It's hard. It's a hard thing to get done. And I've been out here 27 years.
What's Sister's Place renamed as?
Sister Place is what is it called? Sister Place is called something. What in the world is that? I don't know.
Maybe y'all need to have a party, man. I mean, we seem to get together well when you're giving away fried chicken and watermelon, free Hennessy's.
Oh, Doni.
God.
Doni.
Oh God.
I mean, we party for every damn reason but for our own empowerment. I don't get it.
I agree with you, man. It's tough, man. It's really tough. And
but these listen, let's be honest, Danny.
Say it.
The money that black people spend to live in Owens Mills, Randallstown, Woodlawn, Pikesville, that money is a part of the largesse that keeps Baltimore County strong.
That's right. Absolutely.
But politically,
that's right.
We are impotent. I don't get it.
We pay.
It would be no Baltimore County if it weren't for you rich black people, but you don't vote. It's beyond me.
No. They vote. We one of the highest voting areas there is in the state. We're way up there. But the problem is that they voted for the same people. They voted for the people who are career politicians, and they've been there a long time. And they have it so where folks that do run, they just don't have enough support, money to make that change.
Well, maybe y'all need some young people in there. You didn't like the young people that came through the last time? What was the young man's name? Amonzi?
Well, those folks. See, a lot of those folks they come through the Central Committee, and a lot of them, of course.
Aren't you on the state Central Committee?
I'm the second ranking member. What I'm trying to tell you is that they come through, and they don't want to put the work in, and then they go out and they run for office, which is fine. They have a right to do anything they want to do. But you had a Ruben Amaya who ran.
Ruben Amaya,
who ran, who we put on the Central Committee back in 2020, and he ran. And actually, if you look at the numbers, he didn't do that bad, but he campaigned for 2.5 years. And but at the same time, once they pulled the ticket together for the District 10 Unity team, which consisted of Senator Brooks, Speaker Jones, Scott Phillips, and Jennifer Holland. Her name was Jennifer White, but she got married. Her name is Jennifer Holland now. So all of those folks got through, but it was close for that for one of those folks on the team, where the young man Ruben Amaya, he came very close to winning. And this is a in a majority black district.
Y'all have one young black person out there.
Those are the same things they doing over there in 44B. They doing the same thing over there.
Y'all are not grooming young black people.
That's the problem there. They're not mentoring the folks like they're supposed to.
Oh, you too.
And pardon me?
You're a part of that number. You second in charge. Y'all are not grooming.
No. Look, this is the deal, and we all know this. What the deal is that when you put those things out there like that, the black folks have to participate. They have to put themselves in the game. They have to
no bench, Andy.
Huh?
Andy, they ain't got no bench. They like the Republicans. They ain't got no bench.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But what I will say is this, that people need to be more involved. Young people have to get more involved. You know, those young white kids, they all up there. They becoming associate members. We put it out. We tell people all the time. We go to the schools. We do all of that and say, look, you want to be part of the process. You want to learn how the political process works. This is a great place to start. Come up there. You can become an associate member. You can find out what's going on, be friends, or get a connection with the elected officials and run for office. So
right,
you got to be part of the solution.
Tell them when your radio show is.
Oh well, we do radio every Thursday. WFBR 1590 AM. It's called Two Way Talk with the number 2, Two Way Talk radio show, and we've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And check us out.
Bishop Barry is on that show,
Bishop
right?
Barry Chapman is our host. He is a phenomenal person. Actually, on Tuesday night, we had our Unity dinner down there. I sent it to you. You never responded. I would have got you in, but you didn't respond to the flyer I sent you. But we had our Unity dinner.
In Baltimore City. I'm putting out fires in Sandtown.
It don't matter, man. But you are part of the movement. Whether it's Baltimore City, County, we all connected. I don't know why people think it's separate. We all in this together. Yep. As black folks, especially city, county, whatever. We all in it. We're black folks. So. You know, we had our fantastic 18th Unity dinner. We had the Lieutenant Governor there speaking, Miss Miller. And I tell you, everybody was there. We celebrated Dutch Rutersburg, who's retiring. Sarbanes retiring.
You don't like Dutch Rutersburger?
Pardon me?
We don't care about Dutch Rutersburger. He got a cattle.
He's gone. It's gone. It's over. That's what you do, Donnie. Are you kidding me? You just do it. And that's part of it. Now it's the of course,
Santana and his people got cattle and cows just around the corner. He talked about my neighbor. We know Dutch.
Okay, well, Dutch is Dutch.
And all that pro-black.
Look, all I know is that he's gone. We celebrated him.
And Mike Miller, be gone. Mike Miller was like a slave owner.
So we had a wonderful, wonderful event. It was a sold out
event. Man. They put their pants on just like you. They've been failing our community, and too many of us get soft.
But who is our worst people who are doing us the most injustice, man?
Black career politicians.
There you go. There it is.
How long you been there?
It's always been that way.
How long have you been there?
I'm not a paid elected official. What I do from the heart. I'm a community activist that was asked to go up there and do some changes, and we were successful with doing that. So no,
I'm the chair of this. I'm the chair.
Yeah, I'm an elected official. That's it. I'm not a politician. I don't look at myself as a politician. I am an elected official. I know I am, but I'm a community activist that went to another level to do some things that was asked of me, and we were able to do it. But anyway, we had a great event, and so there you go.
We got to put some fire under them people out Liberty Road. There would be no Baltimore County if it weren't for the upwardly mobile black people that live out there. Stephanie, you live in Baltimore County. You live over there on the east side.
I do. I live in one of the reddest areas in Maryland.
Oh, yeah. You probably out there. Wait, where are you?
I'm down here on the peninsula, Sparrows Point, North Point, area.
Oh, yeah.
So it is mega all around me. I'm trying my best to stay out of our group Facebook chats, but I'm knocking people down all the time, asking them questions. My mom is scared when I go to community meetings because I'm going to confront them on why. Why do you support, especially with women? It behooves me and confuses me on how women can back Donald Trump so enthusiastically, and it is a fascination with celebrity, and that is as much as I can say, and it is a bit of insanity too. But yes, I am in a very red area. Luckily, but it also comes down to what I'm trying to push in my area are the local elections. When's the last time you guys looked at the school board? You know, and they talk a lot about Johnny O. God, they hate him down here, and so that's the conversation I'm trying to bring to my neighborhood. Like, the test scores for this part of the county are abysmal. Why don't y'all care about that? And why are we talking about Trump all the time? I could care less about Kamala and Trump when it comes to my local neighborhood, right? And what we can do to change things around here. But it is rough. It is rough being probably maybe the second Black family in my neighborhood.
Yeah, it's tough out there.
Like Rosewood to me. Hey, Andy.
Johnny O from that area though?
Yes.
Huh? What you
Yeah,
say?
he's from the east side of the county. Yes.
Who, Mr. Blount? You're from the east side?
Well, I'm from Turner Station. I came from New York to Turner Station.
New York, man.
I'm from Brooklyn, and then I moved to Turner Station, and then I moved to up there by Northwest Shopping Center.
Why you leave Turner Station?
Oh man, they tore up Turner Station after the riots, after the King riots. They tore up Turner Station, man. My father said we gotta leave.
Andy, has Kamala picked a Black issue that will resonate among the masses?
A Black issue?
Has she resonated with beyond the Black women who naturally support her? Has she picked a Black issue that all Black people or most Black people can relate to?
I cannot say that she did. I feel like the blackest of her issues is not letting Trump have another term because Trump is racist. That's the blackest issue I've seen her say about.
Stephanie,
this election is not about black issues. This election is about women's right to choose.
Yeah.
Stephanie, why so many white women support Trump then? I saw a white woman get Trump tattooed across her forehead. She had to be the dumbest son of a gun since.
It is, well, like we said on another show, racism is a form of insanity. And I think that it has infected a lot of people. And like I said, the idolization of Trump is frightening. And that's what it is. It's an idolization of him. It's beyond celebrity. It's beyond fame. The tattoos across the forehead. I cannot explain it. And so when
I saw Stephanie, these blacks, older blacks, they had to be my age, dancing to a video, and they had T-shirts on that said "Blacks for Trump." I could have fell out the bed.
Well, did you fall out the bed?
The minstrel shows and people cooning and clowning for the other side forever. Like that's not surprising to me at all.
It was disgusting.
A bus at Morgan State University. Blacks for Trump. They had a big old bus right at Morgan and up Northwood Shopping Center. Blacks for Trump. Unbelievable, man.
Nobody destroyed it.
You didn't know that, Doni? They had a big giant bus with Trump all on it at Morgan State University and Northwood Shopping Center. It was unbelievable.
I'd have had to pay Black Stevie $20 to do something to that bus.
They wouldn't be driving very far.
I mean, there's a lot of money to be made off of Trump.
See, this is the stuff that doesn't make it on the mainstream news, and that's why this network is so important.
And I honestly think Trump is going to make the whole world rich. I think they honestly believe, like when I'm in the group chats with these people, they're like, well, how has your life been better? And I'm like, I'm telling them, like in the last 6 years, how my life has gotten better. And I'm telling them, like point blank, how Trump has made lives of
He's a criminal.
He's a criminal. Yeah, he's a criminal.
Have you seen the latest Obama endorsement ad? Where Obama was like, everybody keeps talking about how great the economy was under Trump. He inherited my economy.
Yes.
Like, that's some real shit right there.
Right.
Listen, folks, we got breaking news. I'm so glad you stuck around. I know you thought it was for naught. All the way from the Middle East, Michael Haney. Welcome, Mr. Haney, and thank you for sponsoring this network. We couldn't go on until we heard from you.
Well, I appreciate that, Donnie, man. Yeah, we're in the Middle East, and hopefully Monday. My apologies, it took us a while to get in. We're like 7,000 miles away. Hello to everybody in there. So Monday, hopefully we can, we're doing some interviews. We're here for a conference, a GTEX conference. That is a technology conference on artificial intelligence. And a couple of my colleagues from Kenya are meeting me over here to attend the conference.
So, what country are you in?
So we're in Dubai. We're in United Arab Emirates, but we're in Dubai right now.
What's being reported on the international news there that we don't hear here in the United States?
So the biggest thing is the election, the presidential election, as well as what's happening in the Middle East with Netanyahu. And we've got an interview for 60 Minutes in Black America scheduled for Sunday. It'll be broadcast at noon because we're 8 hours ahead of you here in Dubai right now.
What are people saying about the election?
Well, be quite honest, man. They are, it's amazing how people view Trump. They think Trump is the stronger of the two candidates and that he has a opportunity to keep war from breaking out. That we heard in Africa as well.
They are pro-Trump on the international scene in the Middle East.
They feel Trump is the better of the two to intimidate world leaders and to keep people from countries from warring. They feel Trump is the better of the two candidates. Even when Biden was in there, they felt Trump was the better of the two candidates. It's amazing the perspective of Trump overseas. See, they're not afraid as we are of dictatorships because many of them have leadership in office for multiple years. When they do have democracies, they're used to corruption. So they're not afraid of dictatorships over here. So Trump wanting to stay in office is, it's just par for the course as far as they see it.
Panel, do you have any questions for Mr. Haney? Danny, Stephanie, Andy, any questions for Mr. Haney?
Well, we were talking, Mr. Haney. I don't know if, from all the way out there, if you got a chance to look at what the debate was going on between also Brooks and Hogan. And also Brooks stated vehemently that she supports Israel. And I wanted to know, with Black votes and our sort of conflict between, our patriotism and what we actually believe in our hearts and dealing with actually people dying, children dying and starving. How do you reconcile that with like, oh, I want to vote for also Brooks, I want to vote for Kamala as a Black woman, with the belief that things that are going on in the Middle East aren't right and that they need to be resolved in a way that America can only help, because right now we're only hurting. So I just wanted to know how do you reconcile that conflict?
So I had a chance. When we landed yesterday, we jumped right on TV, and we did see the entirety of the debate. And I have to tell you, I was very proud of how Angela also Brooks handled herself. In contrast, Kamala, when she refused to say that Netanyahu was a friend, I believe it was Tuesday, she was asked a question specifically if he was a friend. And, when you look at the conflict over there as it relates to the U.S. and the influence of the Jewish community, I can only imagine the conflict within Kamala, as well as Angela will have as well. We know that the tens of thousands of people that are being killed over in the Middle East, it's atrocious. We know that Netanyahu is doing it basically to stay out of jail. Him and Trump have some of the same issues criminally in the countries. And so why is he going hard at it the way that he's going? Because the more that he keeps the focus on the war, the less the focus is on him. But when you look at the way Kamala handles it, I think that perhaps when she gets in office, she will unleash a different perspective of what she thinks about the Middle East, and maybe she won't support giving bombs to the Middle East or giving bombs to Boeing and Martin Marietta, because the money never leaves the U.S. So make that very clear, that U.S. interests in the bombing and the militaristic weapons that are going over there is very high because there's a lot of U.S. companies making money off of that war.
Money. War is a money-making machine.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
No check has gone overseas yet. It stays right in the country, and distributed among the rich. And so that's another conflict when you look at the fact that Vice President Harris has to balance between special interests that know that it may not necessarily be, but it is our war. It is absolutely our war. And when you look at our communities of Black people, traditionally, we're the feeders into those wars. Afghanistan, Vietnam, Korea, ever since World War I, when they said, well, hey, since they're over here, let them ends go ahead and fight for us. And instead of using prison as a slave producing opportunity, let's use war.
Yeah. Any other questions from the panel for Mr. Haney?
So this tech conference, it said it's an AI tech conference. Can you tell us
Yes,
a
it
little
is.
bit more?
Yeah, it's called GTEx. It's from
Yeah.
all over the world. When I was in Kenya in February, we launched our call center business. So we're over here looking at the latest in technology and call centers. So two of my partners from Nairobi, Kenya, one's here, one will be here tomorrow. And we're also looking for business opportunity as well, because many of the companies that use this artificial intelligence technology, and Andy, I'll send you the link so you can see the phenomenal networking opportunities and the sessions that they have. I've got 3 sessions I'm attending Sunday, and then I've got an interview with an African-American, a Black man from America on Sunday, for our 60 Minutes broadcast. And then there is a professor of Mideast descent that is associated with Johns Hopkins University that's over here as well. And I'm hoping to catch up with him and do a short clip with him on Monday also. But it's one of the biggest conferences for technology in the world this year. They're focusing on artificial intelligence.
Mr. Haney, what is the perception of what's happening in the Gaza Strip?
Well, I think that you find people believe that Israel is out of control, and it isn't as though people don't believe they should be able to defend themselves. Is it a paranoia that they have since World War II about being annihilated and taken out? Well, we can appreciate that, but when you look at the fact they just bombed Hezbollah, they're into Lebanon now. We know that Iran is going to get involved in this war as well. When Iran gets involved in the war, the U.S., which has already, I believe, sent Monday or Tuesday 12,000 troops positioned, because they believe Iran will enter the war at any time. When Iran gets into the war, the United States pretty much is officially in the war. And then the compelling thing is that we gave them billions of dollars that we held over here in this country. We gave them a significant amount. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. We gave them a significant amount of their money back that we had held in this country. What did they do? They've invested in those factions over in the Middle East of the terrorist organizations. That's how they said that Hamas was able to carry out the missions that it did, because Iran funded it with the money that Joe Biden released back to him when he came into office.
Do you think this is the beginning of World War III, Mr. Haney?
Yeah.
My next question.
That's why I was going
to, So on 60 Minutes in Black America, which is an offshoot of blackusanews.com that Doni inspired me to do, we have been talking about us being on the cusp of World War II since March of this year.
World War III.
World War III, I apologize, World War III. We're on the cusp of World War III. And, we haven't even talked about Ukraine and Russia and what's happening over there. We haven't talked about China, the biggest user of oil in the Middle East. And China has a stake in what's happening over here because they're a big oil user. We think that China is the biggest user of oil and gets most of its oil imported from
He froze up.
Oh.
This is Michael Haney reporting live from Dubai. I really want. Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
You were saying.
Yeah, I was saying that China, China is the biggest importer of oil from the Middle East. So they're not going to allow things to happen in the Middle East without a say-so as well. So there's a lot of world conflict that we as a Black community have to be aware of. So what's the best possibilities of a presidential candidate getting a hold, handling this? So we talk about the economy, we talk about inflation, but what we don't talk about is our young people, our young Black boys, our young Black girls, potentially being in selective service, going 7,000 miles away in many directions, Ukraine, Russia, the Middle East, to war. And that's the biggest fear I have. I've got 10 grandsons and 4 granddaughters, and that's my major concern.
Mr. Haney, how are you as an African American being treated in Dubai?
Hey, so Dubai is a country where 92% of the people are from around the world. They say about 200 different countries it represents. So only 8% of the people in Dubai is a state of the United Arab Emirates. People think it's a country, but it's not. It's a state. So 92% of the people that live in Dubai are from other countries around the world. They come here, they work. The sheik over here appears to be a very fair person. He allows people from Europe, from the US, from Asia. Asia probably has the biggest population over here to bring their culture, their customs, as long as they don't bother other people. Most of that 8%, the 8% that are actual nationals of Dubai, they're subsidized very well, very well. It's a very clean country. I'm treated, I would probably say in the 24 hours I've been over here, as well or better than I am in the U.S. It's a true melting pot. If you talk about a melting pot in the world, it is in Dubai.
Do you see a lot of African Americans traveling to Dubai?
Absolutely, man. I just gave a hug. Yeah, I see quite a few on the plane from Paris. We came in, quite a few from the U.S., and I'll call them Black. I understand you saying African Americans. We identify with Black, particularly as I've been to Africa, et cetera, and some of the same common issues as Black people we have, right? You see a lot from Africa over here in Dubai. I just hugged a guy from Kenya, Paul, a few minutes ago, man. He saw the bracelet that I had from Kenya, and he said, Jumbo. And so we went
Jumbo!
We went over there and spoke to him. And so it's truly a melting pot over here. You know, a very, very nice, clean country.
Would you recommend it for other Black people?
I got to tell you, after talking with a couple of guys I just finished off on the golf course with from India, they say they love it over here. Good place to make money, no taxes whatsoever. But with the oil money they have, there's no need to charge taxes. So you can make a good living. People respect each other over here. And as I mentioned, you're part of 92% of people from elsewhere. And all they do is get along. It's a country full of immigrants.
A beautiful country full of immigrants indeed.
Anything that we haven't covered, Mr. Haney?
Hey, no, other than the fact that being over here, and that's part of the reason, you know, we're not going to Jordan. We're not going to Iran. I would love to get a little closer to really get a perspective of what they think in the Middle East, per se, in the countries that are bordering Iran, the countries that are bordering Jordan and Israel, you know, their perspective of what's happening in the Middle East as it relates to war. But, you know, hopefully we can get some people to be honest about that. But most people here just hope that it does not touch this very sterile and sovereign community over in Dubai.
Well, one last question. Any conversations on Ukraine or Taiwan? Both of those came up in last night's debate between Hogan and also Brooks.
Yeah, I heard that. No, not any conversations related to that yet. But you know, we're in the first. We're here on a short trip. We're back in Baltimore on Wednesday. We're coming over here for some specific things, and especially, hopefully, to talk to some people. But I absolutely will write that down in terms of people's perspective on Ukraine. But I think right now here they're just concerned because they're so close. And it's so peaceful. Many of the other countries, you know, what happens in Gaza? What's happening in Lebanon? How is Iran going to play out to what the United Arab Emirates has to deal with, particularly as it relates to be careful about China.
Mm-hmm. I gotta get this in there. Is AI the topic of any conversation?
Mm-hmm. So it's the entire topic over here at the GTEX conference, and I'll send you the link to the GTEX conference so you could take a look at it, man. It's unbelievable. I was able to locate 3 blacks that were on the agenda. You know, it's another area that we really, really got to pay close attention to.
You know, as an American, Mike, we often look at AI purely from an English language perspective, and I was sharing with Tanya actually that other countries are heavily involved in AI, or put differently, we have to pay attention that we're not the only ones looking at AI. Germany is looking at it. The Asians are looking at it. People in India, so on and so forth.
Well, you take a look at the link that I send you and look at where the people are coming from and where this conference is going as it relates to AI. We have to stop looking at it from a perspective of it's replacing jobs, etc., but a point of efficiencies. There's a group out of Baltimore. I'm in Dubai for business purposes. There's a group out of Baltimore leaving next Friday. Beverly Carter, a guy named Maxwell Aduzi, they're heading to Accra, Ghana, right? They're taking 40 business leaders out of Prince George's County and Baltimore at the bequest of the government of Ghana to explore collaborative opportunities, right? So we as a people have got to begin to look at how we become self-sufficient, self-supporting, and work collaboratively around the world. It's a much bigger game than it was before. It's not just a matter of Baltimore, East Baltimore, but it's a matter of our partnerships around the world.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Governor Wes Moore not long ago did meet the King Abdullah of Jordan. Any advice for the governor? Any tidbits, any insight you could share with Governor Wes Moore of Maryland?
Well, it was interesting that the president of Kenya was over meeting with Joe Biden earlier this year, the first black president of an African country since 1992 on an official visit. Wouldn't it be nice our only black governor in the United States begins to forge relationships formally that allow the entry into international markets a bit easier by entertaining and hosting black leaders from the continent of Africa? Is there something he could do about that? Jordan, I hear Jordan, but it sure would be nice if perhaps he would invite the president of Ghana, the president of Kenya, as an opportunity for us to make it easier to do business internationally.
And I applaud that, because I'm so tired of MBE being the only thing associated with blacks in business, given the plethora of black elected officials, given the strength of the black caucus here in Maryland.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Donnie. You know, what does MBE mean? You know, we have to explore that. But what we really have to explore is that we have to begin to look out for our own. And there is significant resources on the continent of Africa. Do you know that Ethiopia is a close ally of Israel? Ethiopia is a very close ally of Israel. And I only say that from a perspective that Israel uses that for Africa. When you got to go to the map and see how these countries are situated and the resources they have, and the colonization from European countries that still exist, taking their resources. Ghana, Nigeria, they still have some of the effects. They may not be officially colonized, But the influences of these European businesses on African nations is such that when you talk about someone like Westmore, hey, invite a couple leaders over. Is it a matter of protocol from the White House that he has to deal with first? I'm not sure, but I know that there should be opportunities for us as as Black people that are explored across the continent.
Andy, not to throw you under the bus, but Michael, Andy's family is from Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on Trump's comment that his first day as president, he would deport all of the Haitians?
Well, you know, that just to me, when you talk about Haiti and what we did from a media perspective, I'm not going to say we, because you and I didn't do that. We reported the truth. They destroyed Haiti's economy when there was maybe a 1 square mile of turmoil in Haiti, right? Versus it not being, Haiti's a beautiful country, one that I haven't been with, but Bishop J.L. Carter up at Heart Church has sponsored a couple groups. We talked about Haiti. A good friend of mine is from Haiti. A 1 mile radius outside the airport is where they had some of the strife, and we have destroyed their economy because much of their economy is tourism by our false reporting of some of the stories over in Haiti. They're unsafe. That's why it's important that we are very, very careful about where we get our news from.
Stephanie, Andy, Danny, any final thoughts for Mr. Haney?
No, just
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, sister.
He ended that on a good point. Be careful about where you get your news from. And I think that's a theme that's running through the entire conversation. That's a reason why Black USA News Network exists, is that we need to be able to tell our own stories with our own voices and amplify our untold expectations to prop them up. And I think that's a thing that we were talking about. Like, why does a lady have the Trump on her forehead? It's about where you get your news and how you can get stuck in that bubble. And as Black people, we can't just get it on social media. We can't just get snippets. It's a disservice to ourselves and our community, and we have to take a deeper dive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and if I could just say once, Doni, for our viewership, we did a show last week on Black men, on 60 Minutes in Black America, the perspective of Black men in this country as it relates to political, financial, et cetera, coming together. There's a lot of good things happening with Black men. I mean, look at us, man. Look at us and what we're doing with our sisters, and what can our sisters do to support us. $1 in our community lasts 6 hours. In the white community, it lasts 12 days. The Asian community, it lasts 17 days. And when you talk about what we need to do to be self-sufficient and self-supporting, Westmore bringing in presidents from across the continent of Africa so that we can explore relationships. Bev Carter taking a plane load of Blacks out of Prince George's County and Baltimore City to Accra, Ghana, at the bequest of their government. Why can't we initiate some things, and why can't we look at keeping our resources in our community instead of thinking about, are we going to the Middle East? Are we going to Ukraine and losing our populace over there for a war? What do we have to do with it? Do we defend freedom in that regard for the U.S.? Well, maybe we have a stake there, but, you know, it's something that we should desperately question.
Any advice for the Blacks, the upwardly mobile Blacks that live out the Liberty Road corridor where Danny works and lives and is an activist? Because their tax base, in my opinion, puts Baltimore County in the fiscal stability state that they find themselves, yet we are politically sterile.
Yeah, I think we lose our sensitivity when we become self-sufficient. We forget about sometimes where we come from. I equate that area out there, Randallstown, Owens Mill. Remember Mitchellville in Prince George's County? You know, there are some similarities in terms of that. It's a great thing, but we got to think about what we said before, that a Black dollar lasts 6 hours in our community. How can we make that such that we are helping other people get what their needs are as well? We got to start to think that way.
I mean, with Johnny Olszewski leaving office, You got one black councilman out there, Julian Jones, but you got Izzy Patoka with $600,000 in his war chest, and yet Pat Young has been finding himself increasingly endeared to the black community. Is that correct, Danny?
That's pretty much on point. It's something that you kind of like wonder, how did this happen? How do we allow this to happen in our community? But we're there now, and what do we do? How do we change it? How do we shift it? How do we make sure that the people that we want in those positions are supported, so they can get there to represent us and to hold them accountable and build an agenda?
Mike Haney, they are voting on expanding the council from 7 members to 9 members, but they're using an illegal map, a map that the council itself came up with when they were supposed to be using one from an independent auditor.
Exactly.
That Baltimore County is the county that got, in my estimation, Larry Hogan over the hump in his second and his first political election, right? So they're going to ensure, particularly the north part of the county, that is traditionally, they can go Democrat or Republican, because that is what Larry, because you know that the staunch Republicans are not going to support Donald Trump. Larry Hogan.
Larry Hogan. Mm-hmm.
But the Democrats, those conservative Democrats in Baltimore County, especially the northern part of the county, where they're trying to ensure that they keep that county council, a bit Republican and mostly white, they're going to vote for Larry Hogan. And that's where Angela also Brooks has to ensure that we as black people are solidly behind her, and we get out and we do vote. But Larry Hogan, and this is why with Democrats, white Democrats, we got to be careful. So what does it mean to be a Democrat? When you have Democrats that are conservative that are supporting Larry Hogan, as they did before. And Larry Hogan, he was a good guy for what it is that he did when he did it, but he's not the guy that we need. With right. More facing us and other opportunities economically in the U.S. Senate, because he's going to go along to get along if we get
without question.
We like people who support black business, and I'm here to tell you that Larry Hogan purchased an ad on BeMoreNews.com just this week. Michael Haney, we've been reaching out to the Also Brooks campaign for months now. And again, thank you, Mr. Hogan.
Hey, well, I've got a contact for you with Angela. Matter of fact, we were texting last night after her.
Tell them to get their ad on Be More News. It needs to be here.
Yeah, but you have a right. God bless America with our ability and our rights to be able to choose and be open and take what we can.
We spend money as Democrats. Black Democrats determine so much here, but black Democrats, and I mean black Democratic elected officials, must support black media. Yeah, we are the first ones to their defense. And they're the last ones to our assistance.
You're absolutely right. You've been saying that. You've been saying that for years. You're absolutely right. And I think black media is getting more powerful and more recognizable, where hopefully one day they'll see that. If it was up to me, would I run Larry's paid ad? Well, first of all, 60 Minutes in Black America, Wake Up Baltimore, we purposely don't take any special interest. But I would run them both. Whether Angela paid for it or not, I'd make sure that she was exposed to the people, run Larry's thing, but I'd make sure Angela was exposed to the people and let them know.
Did you see the debate last night?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I saw
it. Were you shocked to hear her say Commanders over Ravens?
Well, people...
your smile said it all. It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. Go Ravens.
Go Ravens indeed.
But where are the Commanders located at? Where are they located at?
There you go.
They're located in Maryland. They're located in Maryland.
Any final thoughts from the panel? We're going to let everybody go. Mike, we really appreciate this is your third live broadcast internationally. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, man. I hope to have some scenes for you on Monday to cut into, whatever, man, because like I said, if it wasn't for you, many of us wouldn't exist as black media, man. So, you know, wherever I'm at, if I can get on, that's why we tried for 20 minutes, man. Because this is what it's all about. Firsthand information about firsthand things we need to know about. It isn't just down the street that we need to make decisions on candidates. It's exactly where I'm at and what they're thinking, so we understand firsthand what's really going on. But thank you, Donnie.
I want to say, guys reminded me of a conversation I had with a friend of mine who works over at Sinclair. And what we talked about was the fact that a lot of these news outlets, the major news outlets, are property. So as black people, us trusting the property of some rich white man to tell us what we need to know about our people is it's just wild. And we should be paying a lot more attention to black news outlets because, you know, like we said, speaking on Haiti, it's only just a portion of the main city that has any kind of those problems, right? The wild violence and all of that stuff. Meanwhile, the rest of the country gets ignored behind it. Because if it was the news, the media is not telling them, you know, the white-owned media is not telling us that, hey, Santo Domingo was importing rice that was filled with with levels of arsenic into Haiti. So they had to open up the canal, and and Santo Domingo tried to keep Haiti from growing their own rice by, you know, robbing, you know, the supplies that was being sent to build the canal. They was killing people at the canal. They were doing everything they could to keep Haitians from being self-sufficient. And that would be what we talked about on the news. But you know what? Let's get a handful of people committing some chaos here and there, and all of the press everywhere in the world says, "Oh my God, Haiti's under fire. Everything is so horrible in Haiti." Meanwhile, we're fighting back. They killed our president, and what we do, we took their money because we're not buying their rice no more. We're not buying their rice. There's a whole lot of stuff. We're not importing their garbage anymore. Like we're following the lead of what is that country in Africa that they pretty much kicked France out. What is it? Boku something. Burkina Faso.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much that at the end of the day, there is a revolution coming around for blacks. It's not being televised. It won't be televised. And it's starting internationally. Africa's been doing their thing, putting out if you look at France's economy and how badly it's being tanked, all because they can't steal from black people no more.
The Dutch as well.
Like who?
Hey, what Mike Haney said, the Dutch as well.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, that just points out the fact that we need to put a little more emphasis on black media, particularly with the advent of these podcasts. Pretty much, we have the power now. We can all, if because everybody's in a different part of the world, seeing a different piece of news, seeing things that we all bring it all together, we will have a more concise view as to what's going on within the diaspora, which in our motherlands. And that's really what's required. We cannot rely on, you know, your CNNs and, you know, to give us the truth, because they're property. They are property to rich white men. And they're gonna do what the rich white man wants.
Well, I'll tell you, Andy, you're absolutely right, man. I Googled the ownership of media, mainstream media. There were 10,000 Jewish names. Not that, you know, I'm picking out a particular demographics, but the Jewish influence on U.S. media is such that, you know, we hear what it is that, you know, we need to hear in addition to the Middle East. We have to figure out a way that we can support black media like Doni so that he doesn't have to take special interest money, right? And we can keep it sterile to what it is that we need to hear, right?
You don't have to take special interest money because black Democrats in a 2-to-1 Democratic state and a 9-to-1 Democratic city don't find the value in black media. That part.
Well, that's mostly, yeah. But they're a lot of campaigns, black campaigns and whatnot. They live in an echo chamber, right? They want to be on the front page of the Baltimore Sun. They want to be on your Fox 45s because and it doesn't make too much sense to me because all the time, whenever you get on there, the only thing they want to know is how did they trip you up? They're not, there hardly is ever any conversation on, the substance of the whatever the issue is. It's always salacious. Like, how can we use the spiciest language and the most clickbaity of titles to get people to think ill of this Black person? Like my son the other day, we were talking about the Hogan also Brooks thing. And says, my son is like 9. He's like, I'm just tired of them roasting each other because that's what the commercials have been. That's all it's been boiled down to is one side roasting the other side. And that's what the kids see. That is a nice view.
Yeah, it is.
That could be Baltimore.
Hey, Donnie, I want to introduce our production team. We got our production team here
Donnie.
from 60 Minutes.
Hey there.
So Kat Evans is over here. She's behind the cameras and the sound when we get on production on Sunday night. Well, actually, it'll be Sunday afternoon and early Monday morning on Wake Up Baltimore when we broadcast. So we brought the production team over here, give you as much as a professional view of Black media as we possibly can.
Kathy, do you feel comfortable in Dubai?
Absolutely. I feel more comfortable here than I do in Baltimore.
Damn. Well, that says it all.
That's a powerful statement.
Kathy, who do you like for U.S. Senate, and who do you like for president?
Darn, I should have brought my Marla hair hat. Oh wow, does that tell you?
Okay.
U.S. Senate.
Also Brooks.
There you go.
All right.
I just feel. I think, like Michael said earlier, I think Hogan did an amazing job as governor. I'm one of those ones out in northern Baltimore County that voted for him. But I just think if it comes down to a decision in Congress, and he was a deciding vote, I believe Hogan would go with party. Because he's at another level, and Maryland is not going to be his full base when he's in Congress.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level.
Whole different level.
Well, there you have it, folks. Any final thoughts before we get up out of here? We've gone way over, but we had to wait on Big Brother Mike. I mean, after all, he does pay for this network.
No, man. I do nothing that I'm not supposed to do, man. But we just hope that air defense, that iron shield doesn't, because you think about it where you are, and so no iron shield and the beauty of the skyline and the backdrop of Dubai. It's all we hope we see while we're over here the next 4 days. It's absolutely gorgeous. But thanks a lot, Andy. Good seeing you, Mr. Blunt. Good seeing you, sir.
Thank you. Safe travels.
Thank you so much.
Good deal. Folks, up to date, down tomorrow, do your day and everything will follow. Nothing to it but to do it. We got to do it regardless of how I feel. Danny, Andy, thank you so much. I am somebody. I am my brother's keeper. Good morning.
Amen.
And vote.